What would you do if one passionate night with a mysterious billionaire revealed he was an alpha king, and you were his destined mate? When struggling artist Maya Chen accepts a job at an elite charity gala, she has no idea that her encounter with the enigmatic Adrian Blackwood will awaken ancient bloodlines, deadly enemies, and a love that could reshape the supernatural world forever. Subscribe now to discover if their bond can survive the ultimate test of power and sacrifice. Maya Chen adjusts her black cocktail dress for the 100th time as she weaves through Manhattan's most elite charity gala. The crystal chandeliers cast dancing shadows across marble floors, and the air hums with wealth and power she's never experienced. As a freelance photographer hired to capture the evening's highlights, she feels like an outsider peering into a world she'll never belong to. "Excuse me," a deep voice rumbles behind her, sending an unexpected shiver down her spine. She turns, and her breath catches. The man standing before her is devastatingly handsome, tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair and piercing silver eyes that seem to look straight through her soul. His tailored tuxedo probably costs more than her rent for 6 months. "Adrian Blackwood," he extends his hand, and when their fingers touch, electricity shoots up her arm. She gasps softly at the unexpected intensity. "Maya," she manages, trying to ignore how her heart races. "Maya Chen." His grip lingers longer than necessary, those silver eyes studying her face with an intensity that makes her feel exposed. "You're not like the others here," he observes, his voice carrying an accent she can't quite place. "I'm working," she says, lifting her camera slightly, "just here to take photos." "Good. I despise pretense." A slow smile spreads across his lips, transforming his severe features into something breathtaking. "Would you like to escape this circus? I know a place with better champagne and actual conversation." Every rational part of Maya's mind screams, this is a terrible idea. She doesn't know this man, despite his obvious wealth and magnetic presence, but something deeper, more primal, urges her to say yes. The pull she feels toward him defies logic. "I shouldn't," she whispers, even as her body sways slightly toward his, "but you want to." It's not a question. His eyes flash with something wild, predatory, and impossibly alluring. I can sense it. Before she can analyze his strange choice of words, he's guiding her through the crowd with a protective hand on the small of her back. Important-looking people step aside without question, many nodding deferentially. Who is this man that commands such immediate respect? They slip out through a private exit onto a rooftop garden she didn't know existed. The city sparkles below them, but Maya only has eyes for Adrian as he moves to the edge. Moonlight, highlighting his sharp features. "Better," he murmurs, and when he looks at her again, something has changed. His eyes seem brighter, more intense, and she swears she sees flecks of gold mixed with the silver. "This is insane," she breathes. "I don't even know you." "You know me," he says with startling certainty, moving closer. "Your soul recognizes mine. Can you feel it, Maya? This pull between us?" She should laugh, should make some excuse and leave. Instead, she finds herself nodding. The attraction is unlike anything she's ever experienced, deeper than physical desire, as if something inside her is awakening after a long sleep. "I don't understand what's happening," she admits. "You will." His hand cups her face with surprising gentleness. "But first, let me show you something." Before she can ask what, his lips capture hers in a kiss that sets her entire world on fire. It's possessive and gentle, passionate and reverent, and when they finally break apart, Maya feels fundamentally changed. "Adrian," she whispers, and the name feels right on her tongue, like she's been saying it all her life. "Mine." He growls softly against her ear, and the word sends heat pooling low in her belly, as if in response to their connection, clouds drift across the moon. and Maya could swear she hears something wild and haunting echo through the night, like a wolf calling to its pack. Maya wakes in silk sheets that cost more than her monthly income, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. For a moment she's disoriented, until memories of the night flood back. Adrian's penthouse, hours of passion unlike anything she's ever experienced, and the way he whispered her name like a prayer against her skin. She's alone in the massive bed, but she can hear movement in another room. Rolling over, she catches her reflection in the mirrored closet doors and freezes. Her eyes, normally a warm brown, have golden flecks she's never noticed before. She blinks hard, convinced she's imagining things, but they remain. You're awake. Adrian appears in the doorway, carrying a tray of coffee and pastries, wearing only black silk pajama pants that hang low on his hips. In daylight, he's even more magnificent and more dangerous looking. "My eyes," she says uncertainly, touching her face. He sets the tray down and sits on the bed's edge, studying her with those penetrating silver orbs. "The mating bond has begun awakening your dormant genes," he says matter-of-factly, as if he's discussing the weather. Mating bond, dormant genes. Maya sits up, clutching the sheet to her chest. "What are you talking about?" Adrian sighs, running a hand through his dark hair. "I'd hoped to ease you into this more gently, but your transformation is happening faster than expected." He meets her eyes. "Maya, I'm not entirely human, and neither, it turns out, are you." She stares at him, waiting for the punchline that never comes. "That's impossible. Is it? Haven't you always felt different? Like you didn't quite fit in the human world?" His voice is gentle but insistent. "Haven't you had dreams of running through forests, of hunting beneath moonlight?" Maya's breath catches. She has had those dreams, vivid ones where she feels powerful and free in ways her waking life never allows. But dreams are just dreams. "You're werewolves," she says flatly. "You're telling me werewolves exist." "We prefer the term shifters, but yes." He reaches for her hand, and she doesn't pull away despite her shock. "I'm the Alpha King of the North American packs, and you, my beautiful Maya, are my destined mate, a hybrid with dormant wolf genes that my claiming has awakened." This is insane. But even as she says it, she feels something stirring inside her, something wild and restless that responds to his presence. "Look at me. Truly look," Adrian commands softly. She watches, mesmerized, as his eyes shift from silver to bright gold, and his canine teeth elongate slightly. The scent that clings to him, pine forests and winter storms, suddenly makes sense. "Oh, a god," she whispers, but she's not afraid. Instead, she feels a strange sense of rightness, as if puzzle pieces are finally clicking into place. "You're safe with me," he promises. "I will never hurt you. But there are others who will try to use you against me, others who will see you as a threat to their power." "What others?" "Rival packs, supernatural councils, humans who hunt our kind." His jaw tightens. "Being my mate makes you incredibly powerful, but also incredibly vulnerable. There will be those who want to eliminate you before you fully come into your abilities." Maya feels overwhelmed by the magnitude of what he's telling her. Yesterday, she was a struggling artist, living paycheck to paycheck. Today, she's apparently a werewolf hybrid, mated to an alpha king with enemies who want her dead. "I need air," she says, standing abruptly. "Of course, but Maya—" He catches her hand as she passes. "Don't try to run from this. From us. The bond is too strong now, and separation will cause us both physical pain." She looks into his golden eyes and sees truth there, along with something that looks remarkably like vulnerability. "I won't run," she promises, though she's not sure. "Why?" "But I need time to process this." He nods, bringing her hand to his lips. "Take all the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready." 3 days pass in Adrian's penthouse. 3 days of Maya trying to reconcile her normal life with this supernatural reality. Adrian has been patient, answering her endless questions while giving her space to process. But her body is changing in ways that terrify and exhilarate her. Her senses have sharpened dramatically. She can hear conversations from floors below, smell emotions on people's skin, and her eyesight is so clear it's almost overwhelming. The golden flecks in her eyes have spread, and her nails have grown stronger, more claw-like. "It's time," Adrian says on the third evening, finding her standing by the windows, watching the sunset paint the sky crimson. "Time for what?" "Your first is shift. The moon is nearly full, and fighting the change will only make it more painful." He moves behind her, his hands settling on her shoulders. "Trust me to guide you through this." Maya feels it then, a restless energy building under her, skin like electricity seeking ground. Her bones ache in a way that's not entirely unpleasant, and something wild claws at her consciousness, demanding release. "I'm scared," she admits. "I know. But I'll be right there with you." His lips brush her ear. "Let me show you what you truly are." They take his private elevator to the building's rooftop, which has been transformed into a lush garden sanctuary hidden from prying eyes. The full moon hangs heavy and silver above them, and Maya gasps as its light seems to call to something. Deep in her DNA, "Feel it," Adrian murmurs, his own eyes blazing gold. "Don't fight the wildness. Embrace it." The change starts as a tingling warmth that spreads from her core outward. Maya cries out as her bones begin to reshape, but Adrian's strong arms support her. His scent, pine and power and safety, grounds her as her body transforms. "That's it, beautiful. Let go." Pain and pleasure merge as her human form melts away. She feels her consciousness expand, her awareness becoming sharper, more primal. When the transformation completes, she stands on 4 legs, her coat a lustrous silver brown that gleams in the moonlight. She looks up to see Adrian in his wolf form, a massive black beast with silver eyes that radiate authority and gentleness. He's magnificent and terrifying, clearly built for dominance and protection. "You're perfect," his voice echoes in her mind, the mental link another gift of their bond. Maya takes an experimental step, then another, marveling at the power coiled in her new body. She feels alive in a way she never has as a human, connected to the earth, to the night, to the primal forces that govern the natural world. "This is who I really am," she realizes with startling clarity. "Yes," Adrian agrees, padding closer. "This is your true nature, beautiful and wild and strong." They run together across the rooftop garden, Maya reveling in her newfound speed and agility. Every sensation is heightened. The cool night air, the sense of the city mixing with wild growing things, the steady rhythm of her heart synchronized with Adrian's. When they finally shift back to human form, Maya collapses against Adrian's chest, overwhelmed by the intensity of the experience. "How do you bear it?" she asks breathlessly. "Going back to being just human after that?" "We're never just human," he replies, stroking her hair. "The wolf is always part of us. You'll learn to carry both sides in balance." Maya looks up at him, seeing him clearly for the first time, not as the mysterious billionaire who seduced her at a charity gala, but as her mate, her equal, her other half. "What happens now?" she asks. "Now you begin training. There are those who will challenge our bond, Maya, enemies who will try to break us apart or use you against me." His expression grows serious. "You'll need to be strong enough to stand beside me, not behind me." "I want that," she says with surprising conviction. "I want to be worthy of this bond." "You already are," he murmurs against her lips. "You just need to believe it." Maya's introduction to pack politics comes sooner than expected. 5 days after her first shift, Adrian receives word that the North American Pack Council has called an emergency meeting to discuss his unauthorized mating with an unknown hybrid. They can challenge our bond? Maya asks, anxiety knotting her stomach as she watches Adrian pace his office like a caged predator. They can try, he growls, silver eyes flashing with barely contained rage. The old laws give them the right to question any Alpha King's choice of mate, especially one that affects pack bloodlines. He stops pacing and looks at her intently. But they cannot break what the moon goddess herself has forged. Maya isn't sure she shares his confidence. In the week since her transformation, she's learned that werewolf society is complex and hierarchical, with ancient laws governing everything from territory disputes to mating rights. As Adrian's mate, she theoretically holds tremendous power, but only if the pack accepts her. When is this meeting? She asks. Tonight, at the Blackwood estate in upstate New York. He moves to stand before her, cupping her face in his hands. I won't lie to you, Maya. This will be dangerous. There are those on the council who have opposed my leadership for decades, and they'll see you as their chance to undermine my authority. What kind of dangerous? They may challenge our bond through combat, question your worthiness through trials, or attempt to prove you're a threat to pack security. His thumb traces her cheek. But I will not let them harm you. 2 hours later, Maya finds herself in the passenger seat of Adrian's sleek black car, watching dense forests blur past the windows as they drive deeper into werewolf territory. She can feel the change in the air itself, wilder, more primal, humming with supernatural energy. The Blackwood estate emerges from the forest like something from a Gothic novel, a massive stone mansion surrounded by hundreds of acres of protected wilderness. Other vehicles are already parked in the circular drive, their occupants' scents carrying on the wind. Power, aggression, and barely contained violence. Remember, Adrian says as they approach the grand entrance, you are my equal, not my accessory. Hold your head high and let them see the strength I've seen in you. The main hall buzzes with tension as they enter. Dozens of werewolves in human form mill about, their conversations stopping abruptly as Maya appears. She feels their eyes on her, assessing, judging, some openly hostile. Alpha King, a stern woman with steel-grey hair and predatory eyes, approaches them. Councilwoman Victoria Frost, she introduces herself to Maya, though her tone suggests she finds the introduction distasteful. We need to discuss your situation. Maya is my destined mate, Adrian states firmly, his arms sliding protectively around her waist. The bond was recognized by the moon goddess herself. There is nothing to discuss. Everything is open to discussion when it affects pack security, Frost retorts. She's an unknown quantity with hybrid bloodlines we can't trace. How do we know she's not a spy, a weapon planted by our enemies? Maya feels anger flare in her chest, and golden light flickers in her peripheral vision. I was living as a human until a week ago, she says, her voice carrying more authority than she expected. I didn't even know werewolves existed. Exactly, another councilman interjects, making you either incredibly naive or an exceptionally well-planted asset. Enough. Adrian's voice drops to a dangerous growl that has several pack members instinctively stepping back. You will show my mate the respect she deserves, or you will answer to me personally. And there's the problem, Frost says coolly. You're already choosing her over pack wisdom. How long before you choose her over pack security? Maya realizes this is about more than just her worthiness. It's about challenging Adrian's authority through her. They see her as his weakness, a vulnerability they can exploit. If my loyalty is in question, Maya says, surprising herself with her boldness, then test it. Whatever trials you deem necessary, I'll face them. A murmur runs through the assembled wolves, and Maya catches Adrian's sharp look of concern. Be careful what you offer, little hybrid. Frost smiles, and it's not a pleasant expression. We just might take you up on that. The trial begins at midnight, when werewolf magic runs strongest. Maya stands in the center of a stone circle deep in the Blackwood forest, surrounded by the Pack Council and dozens of witnesses. Torches flicker in the darkness, casting dancing shadows that make the assembled wolves look more beast than human. The trials of worthiness are threefold, Councilwoman Frost announces, her voice carrying clearly through the night air. Mind, body, and spirit. Fail anyone, and the bond will be deemed false, a product of lust rather than destiny. Maya's heart pounds, but she forces herself to stand tall. Beside the circle, Adrian watches with tense restraint, every line of his body screaming his desire to intervene. But pack law is clear. She must face this alone. The first trial tests. Mental fortitude, Frost continues. You will enter a vision quest induced by Moonwell water, survive the psychological challenges, and you pass. An ornate silver chalice appears, filled with luminescent blue liquid that seems to pulse with its own heartbeat. Maya takes it with steady hands, meeting Adrian's eyes one last time before drinking deeply. The effect is immediate and overwhelming. The world dissolves around her, reforming into a nightmarish landscape where her deepest fears take physical form. She faces twisted versions of her past failures, moments of weakness and doubt given flesh and claws. But through it all, she feels Adrian's presence like a golden thread in her mind, reminding her of her strength. She fights through manifestations of her insecurities about being worthy of love, about belonging anywhere, about having the power to protect those she cares about. When she emerges from the vision, bloody but unbroken, approving murmurs ripple. Through the crowd, the second trial tests physical capability, Frost announces without pause. Combat against a chosen warrior from the pack. A massive man steps forward, easily 6.5 feet tall, built like a mountain with scars crisscrossing his exposed arms. This is Marcus Stone, Adrian's own beta and most trusted fighter. I won't go easy on you, Marcus warns quietly as they circle each other in the stone ring. It would dishonor both of us. I wouldn't want you to, Maya replies, allowing her wolf to surface. Her vision sharpens, her reflexes quickening as predatory instincts take hold. The fight is brutal and swift. Marcus has decades of training and experience, but Maya has something else, the desperate need to prove herself worthy of Adrian's love and her place in this world. She uses her smaller size and hybrid speed to her advantage, landing strikes that would cripple a human while dancing away from his powerful counters. The tide turns when Marcus overextends on a particularly vicious attack. Maya slips beneath his guard and drives her claws toward his throat, stopping just short of drawing blood. They freeze in tableau, her hand at his neck, his eyes wide with surprise. Yield, she says quietly. I yield, Marcus responds with growing respect. Well fought, Luna. The title sends a thrill through Maya. Luna, the Alpha King's mate and equal. The final trial tests spirit and loyalty, Frost announces, though her tone has lost some of its earlier hostility. You must demonstrate that your bond serves the pack's interests, not just your own desires. How? Maya asks, though she dreads the answer. Choose, Frost says simply. Adrian has received intelligence about a planned attack on our territory by the rival Eastern Pack. He must leave immediately to coordinate our defenses, likely for several weeks. You can go with him, staying safe at his side, or you can remain here, helping to defend our most vulnerable pack members should the enemy breach our borders. Maya's heart clenches. Every instinct screams at her to stay with Adrian, to not be separated from her mate when their bond is still so new. But she looks around at the assembled wolves, elders, mothers with children, younger pack members who would be defenseless. Against a coordinated attack, I stay, she says without hesitation. Adrian's face goes white. Maya, no. The separation pain will be manageable if it means protecting your people, she finishes firmly. Our people. The pack erupts in approving howls, and even Frost looks impressed. "Welcome to the pack, Luna Maya," Frost says with genuine respect. "May your bond strengthen us all." 2 weeks have passed since Adrian left to reinforce the northern borders, and Maya feels every hour of separation like a physical ache in her chest. But she's thrown herself into pack life with determined intensity, training with the warriors, learning pack history from the elders, and helping coordinate defenses around the estate. "Luna, we've got movement on the eastern perimeter," Marcus reports, bursting into the war room where Maya has been studying territory maps. Scouts count at least 30 eastern pack wolves, moving in coordinated formation. Maya's blood turns cold. The attack they've been preparing for is finally here, and Adrian is 300 miles away. The bond between them thrums with anxiety, as he senses the danger through their connection. But he can't abandon his position without leaving the entire northern territory vulnerable. "Defensive positions," Maya orders, surprised by how naturally the authority comes to her. "Get the non-combatants to the safe rooms and activate the perimeter wards. How long before they reach the main compound?" 20 minutes, maybe less." Maya nods, her mind racing through contingencies they've drilled endlessly. "Send word to Adrian, but make it clear he's not to abandon his post. We can handle this." As the pack mobilizes around her, Maya feels her hybrid nature surging to the surface. Her wolf wants to fight, to defend their territory with tooth and claw, but her human side provides tactical thinking that purely bred werewolves sometimes lack. The attack begins with a coordinated strike on 3 sides, designed to scatter their defenders and create chaos. But Maya has anticipated this, positioning their strongest fighters at the most likely breach points, while keeping a mobile reserve to respond to unexpected developments. "They're testing our defenses," she observes from the command center, watching the tactical display Marcus has set up, looking for weaknesses, or trying to draw us out. Marcus agrees. Their alpha, Viktor Kozlov, is known for psychological warfare. He wants us to make mistakes. The real assault begins at dawn. Eastern pack wolves pour through the forest with savage efficiency, their howls echoing through the trees as they clash with Blackwood defenders. Maya monitors the battle from multiple fronts, coordinating responses and reinforcements with growing confidence. But everything changes when she spots Viktor himself approaching the main house, flanked by his deadliest fighters. He's massive even in human form, with cold blue eyes and an aura of barely contained violence. He's making a play for the heart of our territory, Maya realizes. If he can claim the main house, he can challenge Adrian's authority directly. "We have to stop him," Marcus says grimly. "No," Maya says, standing with sudden resolve. "I have to stop him." Before Marcus can protest, she's shifting into her wolf form and racing toward the confrontation. Viktor sees her coming and grins, revealing elongated canines. "The hybrid pup thinks to challenge me," he calls out in accented English. "Adrian's little pet wants to play with the real wolves." Maya doesn't respond with words. Instead, she launches herself at him with hybrid speed that catches him off guard. They crash together in an explosion of snarls and claws, rolling across the manicured lawn in a deadly embrace. Viktor is older, stronger, and more experienced, but Maya has something he doesn't expect: the desperate fury of a mate protecting her pack family. She fights with a combination of wolf instinct and human cunning that keeps him off balance. The tide turns when Viktor's lieutenant tries to interfere, moving to strike Maya from behind. But Marcus and 2 other pack warriors intercept him, evening the odds and allowing Maya to focus entirely on the enemy alpha. She finds her opening when Viktor overcommits to a killing blow, his claws raking across her ribs. Pain explodes through her, but it also triggers something deeper, a surge of power she's never felt before. Her hybrid nature fully manifests, giving her strength that rivals even an alpha. Her counterattack is swift and brutal. Claws find Victor's throat, and suddenly the Eastern Pack Alpha is on his back, her teeth at his jugular. "Yield," she growls. "I yield," he gasps, and his pack immediately begins withdrawing. Maya has just won her first battle as Luna. Victory celebrations are short-lived when Adrian returns to find Maya recovering from injuries that should have killed her. The pack doctor, Dr. Sarah Chen, can't explain how Maya survived Victor's potentially fatal strike to her ribs, or why. She's healing at a rate that surpasses even pure-blooded alphas. "There's something different about her bloodline," Dr. Chen tells Adrian privately, while Maya sleeps off her accelerated healing. "Something I've never seen before. Her DNA shows markers that predate modern werewolf genetics by centuries." Adrian stands vigil beside Maya's bed, his face grim with worry and something else, a growing suspicion about Maya's true nature. When she finally awakens, golden eyes clear and alert, he makes a decision that will change everything. "We need to visit someone," he says without preamble. "Someone who might have answers about what you really are." 2 days later, they're deep in the Canadian wilderness, approaching a cabin that looks like it grew from the forest itself. The woman who emerges is ancient by werewolf standards, her silver hair braided with bones and crystals, her eyes holding depths that speak of centuries of accumulated wisdom. "Oracle Senna," Adrian bows respectfully. "We seek knowledge about my mate's bloodline." Senna's gaze fixes on Maya with unsettling intensity. "I wondered when you would come to me, child of two worlds." She gestures for them to enter her cabin, which is filled with herbs, crystals, and artifacts that hum with supernatural energy. "Child of two worlds?" Maya asks, accepting a cup of tea that tastes like moonlight and starfire. "Your mother never told you about your father's family?" Senna asks, though her tone suggests she already knows the answer. "About why she fled to the human world when she was pregnant with you." Maya's heart stops. "My mother said my father died before I was born. She never talked about his family." "Because your father wasn't just werewolf," Senna reveals, her words dropping like stones in still water. "He was the last pure-blooded member of the Moonwalker clan, werewolves who could channel lunar magic directly. They were hunted to extinction by those who feared their power." "That's impossible," Adrian breathes. "The Moonwalkers were legend, myths." "Were they?" Senna asks, producing an ancient leather journal. "Your father was Alexander Volkov, last of his line. He mated with your human mother to protect the bloodline, knowing their enemies would never think to look among humans for his heir." Maya stares at the journal with growing recognition. The handwriting is familiar. She's seen it before in letters her mother kept hidden but never destroyed. "Your mother lied to protect you," Senna continues. "Alexander was murdered when she was 6 months. Pregnant, she fled to the human world and raised you without knowledge of your heritage, hoping to keep you safe. But the power is awakening now," Adrian says, understanding flooding his features. "Her mating with me triggered the dormant Moonwalker abilities." "Precisely. Maya doesn't just carry werewolf and human genes. She carries magic that could reshape the supernatural world." Senna's expression grows grave, but with that power comes danger. There are those who will kill to possess it, and others who will kill to prevent its use. Maya feels overwhelmed by the magnitude of this revelation. What kind of magic? Moonwalkers could heal mortal wounds, influence pack bonds, and channel lunar energy as a weapon. They were natural peacemakers and war enders, capable of forcing treaties between enemies or uniting fractured packs. Senna reaches across the table to touch Maya's hand, and power flows between them like recognition. You are the key to ending the supernatural wars that have raged for centuries, or starting new ones, Adrian says darkly, if the wrong people learn what she is. They already suspect, Senna warns. Victor's attack wasn't random. He was testing her abilities, gathering intelligence. The Supernatural Council has heard whispers of a new power emerging, and they will act soon. Maya looks between them, feeling the weight of destiny settling on her shoulders like a mantle she never asked for. What do I do? She asks. You learn to use your gifts, Senna says simply, because ready or not, the supernatural world is about to change forever. The Supernatural Council's summons arrives 3 days after their return from Oracle Senna, delivered by a raven that dissolves into shadow after completing its task. Maya stares at the formal parchment with its archaic language and official seals representing every major supernatural faction. They're calling for a formal hearing, Adrian translates, his voice tight with controlled anger. They want to assess the potential threat posed by the emergence of Moonwalker bloodline and determine appropriate containment measures. Containment measures? Maya's golden eyes flash with indignation. They're talking about me like I'm a dangerous animal. To them, you are, Marcus says grimly from his position by the window. A Moonwalker with full powers could theoretically override any pact bond, force peace between warring factions, or unite the supernatural community under a single banner. That kind of ability threatens the existing power structure. Maya has spent the past week training with Oracle Senna, learning to access abilities she never knew she possessed. She can heal wounds with moonlight channeled through her hands, sense the emotional bonds between pack members, and project calming energy that can stop conflicts before they begin. But she's also discovered darker capabilities. The ability to sever supernatural bonds entirely or to weaponize lunar energy in ways that could devastate her enemies. We don't have to go, Adrian says, moving to stand behind her chair. We could disappear, find somewhere remote where the Council's reach doesn't extend, and spend our lives running. Maya shakes her head. That's not living, Adrian. That's just existing in fear. Then we fight, he says simply. My pack, allied with others who oppose Council tyranny. We have enough support to start a supernatural civil war, Maya finishes. One that will cost thousands of lives and accomplish nothing except proving their point that I'm dangerous. The room falls silent as Maya stands and moves to the window, looking out at the packed lands that have become her home. Children play in the courtyard below, their laughter carrying on the evening air, while their parents go about daily routines in blissful ignorance of the political storm brewing around them. There's a third option, she says quietly. I go to the Council, but not as a prisoner or a supplicant. I go as what I am, a Moonwalker, heir to a bloodline that predates their authority. Maya, no. Adrian's voice carries a note of panic. You don't understand what they're capable of. The Council has resources, allies, weapons that could neutralize your abilities entirely. Maybe, but they also have something else. Fear. They're afraid of what I represent, of the changes I could bring to their carefully ordered world. She turns to face the assembled pack leaders, her expression resolved. Fear makes people do stupid things, but it also makes them willing to negotiate when they face someone who isn't afraid of them. Oracle Senna's training has shown Maya that her powers are strongest when she acts from a place of love and protection rather than anger or fear. The Moonwalker abilities respond to pure intention, channeling energy that can heal or destroy depending on the wielder's heart. I'll go to this hearing, Maya announces, but I go as Luna of the Blackwood Pack and heir to the Moonwalker legacy. I'll hear what they have to say, and then I'll give them a choice. Work with me to build a better supernatural world, or get out of my way while I do it myself. Adrian's face goes pale. They'll try to kill you, Maybe. But they'll also have to explain to every supernatural faction why they murdered the last Moonwalker without cause. That kind of political fallout could destroy the council entirely. Maya moves to him, placing her hands on his chest, where she can feel his heart racing. I won't let fear dictate our lives, Adrian. We're stronger than that. Then we do this together, he says firmly. If you're determined to face the council, you don't face them alone. Maya smiles, feeling love and determination flowing through their bond. Together, she agrees. Outside, storm clouds gather on the horizon, and Maya wonders if they're a natural phenomenon or an omen of the conflicts to come. The Supernatural Council meets in neutral territory, a fortress hidden in the Swiss Alps that exists partially in the human world and partially in the realm of magic. Maya and Adrian arrive with a small honor guard, finding themselves vastly outnumbered by representatives from every major supernatural faction. The council chamber is a massive circular room carved from black stone, with 13 ornate thrones arranged in a semicircle. Each throne holds a being of immense power: vampire lords, fey nobility, witch covens, high priestesses, demon princes, and werewolf alphas from across the globe. At the center throne sits Councillor Theron, an ancient vampire whose pale beauty masks millennia of calculated cruelty. Maya Chen. Theron's voice carries the weight of ages. Or, should I say, Maya Volkov, last of the Moonwalker bloodline. You stand accused of possessing abilities that threaten the supernatural balance maintained by this council for over 1,000 years. Maya steps forward, her spine straight and golden eyes blazing with inner fire. She's dressed simply in black, but the lunar pendant at her throat, a gift from Oracle Senna, pulses with soft silver light. I stand accused of existing, she replies, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber, of being born with gifts I didn't ask for, to a bloodline I knew nothing about until recently. If that's a crime, then this council has fallen further than I thought. Murmurs ripple through the assembled representatives, some approving, others hostile. Theron's expression doesn't change, but Maya catches the slight tightening around his eyes. Your gifts, as you call them, include the ability to override supernatural bonds, force submission from alpha-level beings, and channel destructive lunar energy. Councillor Valdris, a fey lord with silver hair and cruel beauty, interjects. These abilities could destabilize every supernatural community on Earth. Only if I choose to use them destructively, Maya counters. Moonwalker magic responds to intention. It can heal as easily as it can harm, unite as easily as it can divide. The question isn't what I could do, it's what I choose to do. And what do you choose? Asked Councillor Morgana, the witch representative, whose dark eyes glitter with curiosity rather than hostility. Maya takes a deep breath, feeling Adrian's supportive presence through their bond. I choose to offer partnership. The supernatural world is fragmenting. Werewolf packs war with each other. Vampire covens scheme against witch covens. The fey nobility plays deadly games with human lives. My abilities could help forge lasting peace between our peoples. Under your leadership, Theron observes coldly. Under cooperative leadership, Maya corrects. I'm not seeking to rule anyone. I'm offering to help build bridges where there have only been walls. The demon prince Azazel leans forward, his red eyes gleaming. Pretty words from someone who destroyed Viktor Kozlov's attack force single-handedly. Your definition of peace seems to involve considerable violence. I defended my pack family from unprovoked attack, Maya says firmly. I won't apologize for protecting innocent lives. Innocent. Theron laughs, the sound like breaking glass. Child, there are no innocents in the supernatural world. There are only predators and prey, and those with the wisdom to maintain the balance between them. Maya feels anger rising in her chest, but she channels it into determination instead of destruction. Around her, the air begins to shimmer with barely visible energy. "That's exactly the kind of thinking that keeps our peoples at war," she says. "You've built a system based on fear and competition instead of cooperation and mutual benefit. The Moonwalkers were eliminated because they represented a different way, one where strength served community rather than dominance. And look how it worked out for them." Valdris sneers. The insult hits its mark, and Maya's power flares involuntarily. Several council members gasp as they feel the surge of lunar energy, instinctively recognizing both its beauty and its terrible potential. "Enough!" Theron declares, rising from his throne. "You have shown us exactly why you cannot be allowed to roam free. The power you wield is too great, too unpredictable. This council hereby orders your containment, pending further study of your abilities." "No," Maya says simply, and her voice carries such authority that several council members actually step back. The chamber erupts into chaos as Maya's true power finally manifests. Maya's power explodes outward like a silver star going nova, filling the council chamber with lunar radiance that forces even the most ancient beings to shield their eyes. When the light fades, she stands transformed, no longer the uncertain hybrid who arrived hours ago, but something magnificent and terrible, a moonwalker in her full glory. Her human form remains, but power radiates from her like heat from a forge. Her golden eyes now hold flecks of pure silver, and her hair moves as if touched by cosmic winds. The lunar pendant at her throat has become a blazing star, casting dancing shadows on the black stone walls. "You would contain me." Maya's voice carries harmonics that resonate in the supernatural bones of every being present. "You who have presided over centuries of war and suffering, who have maintained power through fear and division." "I think not." Theron recovers first, his vampire speed allowing him to blur toward her, with claws extended. Maya doesn't move, doesn't even blink. The ancient vampire strikes an invisible barrier 3 feet from her body and crashes backward, his perfect features twisted with shock and rage. "Impossible!" he snarls. "No werewolf has power like this." "I'm not just a werewolf," Maya replies, calmly. "I am the Moonwalker, heir to powers that predate your petty kingdoms and dominions. My ancestors helped create the supernatural world you've spent centuries trying to control." Around the chamber, council members shift nervously. Some reach for weapons or begin channeling their own abilities, but Maya raises her hand and their powers simply stop. Magic fizzles, supernatural strength fades to normal levels, and ancient artifacts go dormant. "You want to see what I can do?" Maya asks, and for the first time her voice carries a note of danger. "I can sever every supernatural bond in this room, leaving you powerless as newborn humans. I can force peace between your warring factions, whether you want it or not. I can reshape the supernatural world according to my will." The silence is absolute, broken only by the sound of supernatural beings barely daring to breathe. "But I won't," Maya continues, and her power settles around her like a comfortable cloak, "because that would make me exactly what you are. A tyrant who imposes her will through force rather than earning cooperation through trust." She turns slowly, meeting the eyes of each council member in turn. "I offer you one chance to be part of building something better. A supernatural world where our peoples work together instead of against each other, where power serves protection instead of domination, where the strong lift up the weak instead of crushing them." "And if we refuse?" Councillor Morgana asks, though. Her tone suggests she's genuinely curious rather than defiant. "Then I'll build that world anyway, with or without you," Maya says simply. "I'll work with the pack leaders, coven elders, and community leaders who actually care about their people instead of their own power. You can join us or become irrelevant, but you will not stop us. Adrian steps forward, pride and love blazing in his eyes. The Blackwood Pack stands with the Moonwalker, he declares formally, as do our allies throughout North America. One by one, other voices join in. Marcus speaks for the warrior clans, Dr. Chen for the healers, and even some of the younger council members begin voicing support for Maya's vision, but not all. Theron's face has gone from pale to white with rage, and Maya can sense the hatred radiating from him like poison. This isn't over, he promises. There are forces beyond this council, powers that will never accept your pretty dreams of cooperation. Then, they'll learn what happens when they threaten innocence, Maya replies, and for a moment the temperature in the room drops noticeably. I am the Moonwalker, mate to the Alpha King, and protector of all supernatural peoples who choose peace over war. Those who stand against us will find me far less merciful than I'm being today. She takes Adrian's hand, their bond blazing with shared power and purpose. Together, they turn and walk from the chamber, leaving behind a council in chaos and a supernatural world about to change forever. Outside, under the light of the full moon, Maya tilts her face to the sky and finally understands her true purpose. She was born to be a bridge between worlds, a force for unity in a realm torn by ancient divisions, and she's just getting started. Don't forget to subscribe to Alpha Desire for more supernatural romance stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Which paranormal love story should we explore next? Let us know in the comments below.